Listening test instructions. The listening test is about 50 minutes. There are 6 parts in listening test. You will have about 6 minutes to listen to each passage and answer the questions. The passage will be played once.
Hey, you look concerned. What's on your mind?
The final exam. I'm not fully prepared yet.
Well, don't worry too much. You still have 3 days.
Yeah, but 3 days will fly past in a wink.
Well, you still have time to cram things in your brain anyway.
Question 1. Why is the man looked worried?
You will hear a conversation in 3 sections. You will hear each section only once. After each section, you will hear 2 or 3 questions. You will hear the questions only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hi there. I'm really interested in learning more about opportunities at your company. Could you tell me a bit about what roles you're currently hiring for?
Of course. We have a variety of openings across different departments. Right now, we're actively looking for software engineers with experience in Python and data analysis. We also have positions in marketing for those with a strong digital marketing background. Are you leaning towards a specific field?
That sounds great. I actually have experience in software development, particularly in Python and data analysis. Could you tell me more about the team structure and the type of projects your engineers typically work on?
Sure thing. Our engineering teams are structured around agile methodologies, and they focus primarily on developing new features for our flagship products. We're in the process of scaling our platform, so there's a lot of exciting work happening in optimizing performance and integrating new technologies. Does that align with what you're looking for?
Absolutely. I've been looking for a role where I can leverage my skills in Python and data analysis to contribute to impactful projects. Could you also tell me about your company culture and what kind of professional development opportunities you offer?
Our culture is very collaborative and innovative. We encourage continuous learning and growth, offering regular training sessions and workshops. We also support employees who want to pursue certifications or further education relevant to their roles. Our goal is to create an environment where everyone can thrive and contribute their best work.
What roles is the company actively hiring for? What does the recruiter emphasize about the company culture? What type of projects are the engineering teams primarily involved in?
You will hear the second section of the conversation shortly.
That sounds really promising. How does your company support diversity and inclusion in the workplace?
Diversity and inclusion are core values for us. We have initiatives in place to ensure equal opportunities for all employees, regardless of background or identity. Our employee resource groups play a significant role in fostering a supportive and inclusive environment where everyone feels valued and respected.
That's fantastic to hear. I'm also curious about the career progression within your company. Are there opportunities for advancement, and what does the typical career path look like for someone in the software engineering team?
Career growth is something we prioritize. We have clear pathways for advancement, whether it's through technical expertise or leadership roles. Engineers typically start with hands-on development work and can progress into senior or principal roles, leading projects or teams. We also encourage cross-functional movement for those interested in exploring different aspects of the business.
That's really encouraging to know. I'm eager to contribute to a company where I can grow both professionally and personally. Could you share more about the onboarding process for new hires?
Certainly. Our onboarding process is comprehensive, designed to help new hires integrate smoothly into their teams and understand our systems and processes. You'll have a mentor assigned to guide you during your initial weeks, and there are regular check-ins to ensure you have the support you need. We believe in setting you up for success from day one.
What is emphasized about diversity and inclusion at the company? What role does mentoring play in the company's onboarding process? How does the company support career progression?
You will hear the third section of the conversation shortly.
That sounds very supportive. I'm curious about the work-life balance at your company. How do you support employees in maintaining a healthy balance?
Work-life balance is something we take seriously. We offer flexible work hours and remote work options where feasible. Our goal is to empower our employees to manage their schedules effectively, ensuring they have time for personal interests and commitments outside of work.
That's reassuring to hear. One last question. What's the next step if I'm interested in applying for a position?
Great question. You can start by submitting your resume through our online portal. If your skills and experience align with our current openings, we'll reach out to schedule a more in-depth conversation, possibly an interview. We value proactive candidates like yourself and look forward to potentially welcoming you to our team.
Thank you so much for all this information. I'm excited about the possibility of joining your company. I'll make sure to apply online and keep an eye out for any updates. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Likewise, feel free to reach out if you have any more questions in the meantime. We're here to help. Good luck with your application, and hopefully we'll be in touch soon.
What does the job seeker express interest in regarding the company? What does the recruiter value in candidates like the job seeker?
You will hear a conversation followed by 5 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Hey Sarah, do you have a minute? I wanted to talk to you about organizing a carpool for work.
Sure, Jack. I think that's a great idea. It would definitely help cut down on our commute costs and reduce our carbon footprint. How are you thinking of setting it up?
Well, I was thinking we could start by finding out who lives nearby each other and who has a similar schedule. I've heard there are some apps that help coordinate carpooling, or we could just make a spreadsheet and see who matches up.
That sounds practical. I know a few people on our floor who live in my neighborhood. Maybe we could start with them and then spread the word.
Perfect. I'll draft a quick email explaining the idea and asking if anyone is interested. We can include a link to a doodle poll to find out everyone's commute times and locations.
Great idea. I'll help you with that email draft. We should also mention the benefits like sharing gas expenses and maybe even using the carpool lane.
Definitely. Highlighting those perks will encourage more people to join in. Plus, it's a chance to bond outside of work.
Speaking of which, have you thought about how often we should rotate drivers? I think that's important to keep it fair and to make sure no one feels like they're always behind the wheel.
That's a good point. Maybe we could set up a weekly rotation and see how it goes. If it turns out to be too much or too little, we can always adjust.
Sounds fair. Oh, and what about emergency situations or if someone needs to stay late unexpectedly?
We could create a group chat or something similar where we can quickly communicate. That way, if someone needs a ride home early or has to work late, we can sort it out easily.
Perfect. I'm really excited about this. I think it'll make our mornings less stressful too, knowing we have a reliable way to get to work.
Absolutely, and it's good for the environment, which is a bonus. All right, let's get that email drafted and sent out today. The sooner we start, the sooner we can start enjoying the benefits.
Agreed. Thanks for taking the initiative on this, Jack. I think it's going to be a game changer for us.
No problem, Sarah. Team effort, right? Let's make commuting to work a bit more enjoyable for everyone.
Definitely. All right, let's get to it.
Here's the email. Let's send it out and see who's interested.
Looks good to me. Hit send.
Done. Now, let's see who's up for carpooling.
Fingers crossed we get a good response.
I'm optimistic. Thanks again for your help, Sarah.
Anytime, Jack. Looking forward to seeing how this pans out.
Me too. Here's to smoother and more eco-friendly commutes.
Cheers to that.
According to Sarah, what are the benefits of organizing a carpool? How does Jack suggest they begin organizing the carpool? What technology does Jack propose using to coordinate carpooling? How does Jack suggest they manage driver rotation fairly? What aspect of carpooling does Sarah believe will reduce morning stress?
You will hear a conversation followed by 6 questions. Listen to each question. You will hear the question only once. Choose the best answer to each question.
Good morning, Chef Amanda. Thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Chef Amanda, many of our listeners are interested in creating a healthy meal plan, but often find it challenging. What advice do you have for them?
Creating a healthy meal plan doesn't have to be overwhelming. The key is to start simple and build from there. Focus on incorporating a variety of whole foods, such as fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains.
That sounds doable. Can you give us an example of a balanced, healthy meal?
Absolutely. For breakfast, you might have a bowl of oatmeal topped with fresh berries and a handful of nuts. For lunch, a quinoa salad with mixed greens, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, and grilled chicken, drizzled with a light vinaigrette. Dinner could be a piece of baked salmon with a side of steamed broccoli and sweet potato.
Those meals sound delicious and nutritious. How important is portion control in a healthy meal plan?
Portion control is crucial. It's not just about what you eat, but also how much you eat. Using smaller plates, measuring portions, and being mindful of serving sizes can help you avoid overeating.
What are some tips for people who have a busy schedule and struggle to find time to cook healthy meals?
Planning ahead is key. Spend some time on the weekends planning your meals for the week, grocery shopping, and doing some meal prep. You can chop vegetables, marinate proteins, and even cook some dishes in advance. This way, you have healthy options ready to go during your busy weekdays.
That's great advice. Are there any specific foods you recommend incorporating into a healthy meal plan?
Definitely. Leafy greens like spinach and kale are nutrient powerhouses. Berries are great for antioxidants. Lean proteins like chicken, fish, and beans provide essential amino acids. And don't forget healthy fats from sources like avocados, nuts, and olive oil.
How can someone stay motivated to stick to a healthy meal plan?
Set realistic goals and track your progress. Celebrate small victories along the way. It also helps to involve family and friends for support and to keep things fun and interesting by trying new recipes and ingredients.
Thank you so much for sharing these valuable tips, Chef Amanda. I'm sure our listeners will find them very helpful.
My pleasure. Remember, eating healthy is a journey, not a destination. Enjoy the process and take it one step at a time.
Wise words indeed. Thanks again for joining us and have a great day.
Thank you. You too.
What is emphasized about portion control in Chef Amanda's advice? What does Chef Amanda recommend for those with a busy schedule? What does Chef Amanda emphasize about the journey of eating healthy? How does Chef Amanda suggest making meal portions more manageable? What does Chef Amanda recommend for a balanced lunch option? What does Chef Amanda emphasize about healthy fats in a meal plan?
You will hear a news item once. It is about 1.5 minutes long. Then 5 questions will appear. Choose the best way to complete each statement from the drop-down menu.
A powerful earthquake struck the coastal region of Southern California early this morning, causing significant damage and widespread power outages. The magnitude 7.1 earthquake, centered near Los Angeles, struck at 3:14 a.m. local time, shaking buildings and sending residents fleeing into the streets. Emergency services have been mobilized, and authorities are urging people to stay calm and follow safety protocols. Initial reports indicate that several buildings have collapsed and numerous roads are damaged, making travel hazardous. The quake has disrupted utilities, leaving thousands without electricity and water. Hospitals are on high alert, and first responders are conducting search and rescue operations to locate and assist anyone trapped under debris. The seismic event was felt as far north as San Francisco and as far south as San Diego, highlighting the extensive reach of its impact. Aftershocks continue to rattle the region, with experts warning of the possibility of additional significant tremors in the coming days. Governor Gavin Newsom has declared a state of emergency, unlocking state resources to aid in the response and recovery efforts. National Guard units have been deployed to assist local authorities in maintaining order and providing support where needed. Residents are advised to check on their neighbors, especially the elderly and those with disabilities, and to report any structural damages to the authorities immediately. Shelters have been set up in unaffected areas to provide temporary housing for those displaced by the quake. As the situation develops, officials are emphasizing the importance of preparedness and staying informed through reliable news sources. The full extent of the damage is still being assessed, but the focus remains on ensuring the safety and well-being of all affected residents.
You will listen to a 2 minutes video. Then 8 questions appear. Choose the best way to answer each question.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's debate on the new healthcare bill. Joining me are 3 distinguished politicians, Senator Johnson, Representative Smith, and Governor Ramirez. Let's begin. Senator Johnson, what are your thoughts on the proposed healthcare bill?
Thank you to our panelists for a lively discussion on the new healthcare bill. This concludes tonight's debate.
Representative Smith, do you agree with Senator Johnson's assessment?
Not entirely. While I appreciate Senator Johnson's concerns, this bill addresses many long-standing issues. It expands Medicaid coverage and introduces subsidies for middle-income families. However, I share his worry about costs. We must find a balance between comprehensive coverage and fiscal responsibility.
Governor Ramirez, your state has implemented similar reforms. What's your take on this federal proposal?
Having seen the impact of state-level reforms, I support this bill's intent. Access to healthcare shouldn't depend on zip code or income level. However, the federal government must provide adequate funding to avoid passing the buck to states already struggling with budget constraints.
Senator Johnson, you mentioned cost control. How would you propose achieving that without compromising care?
We need to negotiate drug prices and reduce administrative overhead in healthcare systems. Additionally, promoting preventative care will mitigate long-term costs. Without these measures, we risk ballooning deficits and diminishing healthcare quality.
Representative Smith, your thoughts on negotiating drug prices?
It's a contentious issue, but one we must tackle. Allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices could save billions annually. We must also incentivize generic drug production to increase competition and drive down costs for consumers.
Governor Ramirez, how do you see the role of states in implementing federal healthcare policies?
States are laboratories of democracy, testing grounds for policies before national implementation. However, federal guidelines must provide flexibility to accommodate regional differences in healthcare needs and resources.
Moving on, Representative Smith, the bill includes provisions for mental health services. Do you believe these are adequate?
Mental health is a critical component of overall well-being. While the bill's inclusion of mental health services is commendable, we must ensure parity with physical health services in terms of coverage and reimbursement rates.
Senator Johnson, your response to the mental health provisions?
I agree with Representative Smith. Mental health should not be an afterthought. We must integrate mental health services seamlessly into primary care and ensure sufficient funding for mental health professionals and facilities.
Governor Ramirez, your perspective on mental health in the bill?
Mental health services are long overdue for comprehensive reform. This bill takes a step forward, but we must monitor implementation to guarantee access and quality across all demographics.
Closing remarks, starting with Senator Johnson.
This bill has potential, but it needs refinement to secure long-term fiscal sustainability and equitable access to healthcare for all Americans. We must not rush through reforms that could have far-reaching consequences.
Representative Smith, your closing thoughts?
Healthcare reform is complex, but this bill represents progress. We must work together to fine-tune its provisions, ensuring it meets the diverse needs of our constituents while safeguarding our fiscal responsibilities.
Governor Ramirez, your final thoughts.
As someone who has seen healthcare reform from both state and federal perspectives, I believe this bill is a critical step forward. We must prioritize collaboration and compromise to deliver meaningful reform that improves the lives of all Americans.
Thank you to our panelists for a lively discussion on the new healthcare bill. This concludes tonight's debate.
You will hear a report once. It is about 3 minutes long. Then 6 questions will appear. Choose the best way to answer each question from the drop-down menu.
Gender diversity in corporate leadership plays a pivotal role in driving organizational success and fostering a more inclusive workplace culture. Research consistently shows that companies with diverse leadership teams are more innovative, make better decisions, and achieve superior financial performance. Gender-diverse teams bring varied perspectives, which enhance problem-solving and creativity, leading to more robust and well-rounded strategies. Moreover, gender diversity in leadership can significantly improve a company's reputation. Companies that prioritize gender equality are often viewed more favorably by employees, customers, and investors. This positive perception can attract top talent, increase employee engagement, and boost customer loyalty. In a competitive business environment, these advantages are crucial for sustained growth and success. Gender diversity also contributes to better governance and ethical standards. Women leaders are often associated with more collaborative and inclusive leadership styles, which can lead to more transparent and accountable decision-making processes. This helps in building trust and integrity within the organization, essential components for long-term sustainability. In addition, promoting gender diversity aligns with broader societal goals of equality and fairness. By providing equal opportunities for women to ascend to leadership roles, companies can contribute to closing the gender gap and fostering a more equitable society. This alignment with social values not only enhances a company's brand, but also supports broader economic development. So, gender diversity in corporate leadership is not just a moral and ethical imperative, but also a strategic advantage. It drives innovation, improves financial performance, enhances reputation, and supports better governance, ultimately contributing to the overall success and sustainability of the organization.